Do you have any tips to keep every student engaged during teaching? So, before I answer this, I'm going to get on my soapbox and I'm going to say I have a pet peeve about using 100% in anything. In Oregon, we have a goal for the state of zero deaths from car accidents. So 100% survival rate for all car, vehicle, anything. It's unattainable. There are areas that have goals of 100% graduation from high school. It's unattainable. You cannot attain 100%. So it feels really good to say 100% engagement 100% of the time. It feels really good to say 100% of whatever 100% of the time if it's a good thing, but it's not a smart goal. It's an unattainable goal. And so it just often makes teachers feel like they're failures, even though they're really rocking it. And as an example, I'm just going to ask you to think back on staff meetings. And when have you ever been in a staff meeting where, for 100% of the time, 100% of the teachers, the leading teacher included, who is often the principal, are on track? It doesn't happen, and it's okay. That does not mean failure. And so I just want to say that's my pet peeve. 100% engagement 100% of the time is not reasonable, it's not attainable, and it's okay not to be there. Now, should we always be striving to improve? Of course. But just don't have in your head, and I'm sorry if admin has put it there, but I would say that you can let that go, in my opinion. So, that said, I do really love student engagement. My goal is always to engage students and keep them excited and interested in the learning and also just learning. So, one of the things I do is I will randomly use students' names in teaching, particularly those that I notice just a moment ago got off track. And so we're talking, okay, so 5 times 5 is what now, Susie? And like that one's kind of a call out that she might be like, oh, shoot. So, depending on the student, depending on what I know about their personality and whether or not this is typical, I might not do someone that calls them out as like, oh, now I don't know and now I'm embarrassed. Depending on the student, sometimes I think that's appropriate. But you can also say things like, so Susie, did you know that when Christopher Columbus crossed the Atlantic Ocean, and so I didn't ask her a question, I just used her name. And so that can cue kids in to be like, oh, right, I need to be focused again. And so it's a really simple, effective way. And you don't always use the kids who are not being engaged, but I definitely use them more. Like if you get off track, I'm going to use your name more in my instruction and it's going to cue you in on, oh, right, I need to be back on track. Really simple one. I really, really love that one. Another one is we talked about this before in a previous question, but providing them a time to engage with their peers. They really, really do need that time to engage with their peers, to talk with their peers in different structures, different ways. It needs to be controlled. It needs to have a routine associated with it. It will not be 100% on task, and that is okay. One of the keys to helping increase the likelihood that it is, though, is leave them wanting more. Do not give kids 5 minutes to spend time discussing some small question. We know what happens again when that happens at a staff meeting. We all are talking about the weekend all of a sudden. Give them 30 seconds. Literally, sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes longer, but leave them wanting more. Leave them not able to finish all their thoughts about the academic topic, and that will get them excited to talk again the next time you have it. So that's a really, really helpful one. Make it fast, make it snappy, make it exciting, and that can help them be engaged. Also use different structures. One of the ones that I don't remember who Jonathan stole it from, but Jonathan stole it from somebody and again perfected it because he's awesome. But he uses something called pros and cons. And not only is it high engagement, it's high flexible thinking training where talk about a topic, some topic, you can do all sorts of things. But what are the pros of this idea? And your job as a Ninja Turtle is to talk about all of the positive things about this thing. Your partner's going to be listening to you. And then he's going to tell you to go con, Don Con. So go pro, Don Con, I think is the phrase he uses. So then you're going to Don Con, Don as in put on, Don Con, and then you have to switch and you have to start thinking about, okay, it doesn't matter whether I agree or disagree with this. What are all the negative things about this? Your partner's job is to listen to you and try to decide at the end, what do you actually believe? So they're trying to figure out what do you believe, and your job is not to let them know. Your job is to fool them, not fool them. Your job is to make sure that you're thinking critically enough about it so that they don't know for sure what you believe because you've thought through both sides, regardless of which side you agree on. And by the way, he does this upper elementary, so this can go like way high into the academic world. Lower elementary, it might be a little tricky, but for upper elementary, it's gold. One of his favorite ones that he teaches kids about the topic with is um, grave robbing because kids get all grossed out and that's always fun. So I'm like, ew, grave robbing. He's like, okay, yeah. So people stole bodies from graves. That was not awesome, right? They're like, no. And the family's like, how sad is that? He's like, yeah, you're right. Do you know how much medical knowledge we have from that? I wonder. And so just thinking about like there are pros and cons to both sides. And you can do it again. There are so many academic, non-academic, all the things that you can talk about it with, but that's an engagement strategy that gets kids excited about talking about your topic. And so all sorts of things like that can be helpful. Um, okay, back on the keeping kids engaged, proximity. Proximity is my friend. I do not teach at the front of the room. I wander the entire room when I'm teaching. And again, I spend a little bit more time next to the kids who are off task than I do next to the kids who are on task. Proximity, by the way, is also a really, really good one. Quick aside, when you have a quiet student, do not stand next to that student when they're answering a question. Stand all the way across the room because then they learn to vocalize a little bit more. It's very helpful. Okay, and then yeah. Oh, my last one. We already talked about that how you should be enjoying your content, and if you're not, then that's obviously going to keep kids unengaged. But in moderation, I would say the carrots and the sticks. I am so okay with that. Like, I will hold out for my kids, especially if we start on like a we're super unengaged, we're not doing our work very well today trajectory at the beginning of the day. I'll be like, hey, you know what? I think I want to do a Quizlet Live today at the end of the day. And my kids love Quizlet Live. But we have to work for it. So we have to get X, Y, and Z done before we do that. So can we do that? And when I say we get it done, it's not like check, we're done. It's like we did a good job at it and we worked hard and we were all engaged. So it's a team activity. Like we got to get this done as a team. It's up to you. You guys decide. And decide they know doesn't mean that they say, yes, we want to do it. It means what do your actions show? And so using that carrot or using that stick of, oh, you guys, we were so unengaged during that last part of math. We got to stay in for the first 2 minutes of recess. We've got to finish that work. I'm sorry, but you guys chose not to be engaged in the lesson. So you use some of my time, which means I get some of your time for recess to finish that math lesson. Let's stay focused so it doesn't turn into 3 minutes. And so again, in moderation, those carrots and those sticks can be very helpful as well in keeping students engaged and on task. And I'm going to share something that Jonathan's done with his turn and talk. He's an expert at turn and talks in his classroom. Sarah talked about A/B partners. Again, make it fun. So Jonathan in his classroom one year, he got on a Ninja Turtles something or other for kids probably got him presents. I don't know. And then he did a song spoof on it for his kids. And so at Goodwill one day, I found a Ninja Turtles picture, like a canvas picture. I was like, oh, I am so getting this for his classroom. So I gave it to the class as a Christmas present and it's up on his wall. And so if you're on that side of the room, you're a Ninja Turtle. So when it's a turn and talk time, he doesn't say A partners, B partners. He says, okay, Ninja Turtles, you're going to go first this time. On the other side of the room is where we have all the planets displayed on a science poster, and there's a picture of him in with his head stuck through an astronaut helmet and everything that's just really silly over there. So that side of the room, you're astronauts. And so again, the routine is you're turning and talking with your partner but it's made fun by having astronauts and Ninja Turtles doing the talking, and the kids know just who they are. And that also means like you rotate rooms and you have different partners depending on what time of day it is and whether or not you're in a math group or a reading group or whatever. You never have to remember, am I an A partner or a B partner? What am I? It's, oh, look, I'm on the Ninja Turtle side. And so it also helps with solidifying the routine because it's not some random thing. It's put in space. And so you don't have to keep it memorized for different locales and then end up with two A partners who are confused. You always have one side and the other.